Welcome to the Namra Podcast. I'm here with Justin, my man Zach from HBZ Media, guest in the studio, and Ashley Gillen, our creative director. And we're going to get right into it. Talk to you guys about how Zach and I met, how Justin and Zach met, how small the world is, and talk a ton about videography and just overall creativity today, I'd say. We have our creative team at Namra here all at one table, so I'm pumped. Let's get into it.
And, dude, to start us off, you left out the fact that this is a special birthday edition of the Namra Podcast. We got Russ Mankson's birthday in the house.
Happy birthday, Russ! Yeah. Let's go.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Got some whiskey to celebrate. Pretty happy about it. Thanks, everybody, for coming out. It's a good old Friday in the Namra office. I'm pumped. Sure. Zach, thanks for coming, man. Dude. We've been so excited to do this for so long.
How long have we been talking about me coming on the podcast?
I mean, since before we ever even had a podcast.
How long have you guys been at it? For a year?
Well, we've been in the studio for a year, but we've probably had a full setup for like 6 months, like podcast-wise, I'd say. But I mean, we've been talking about doing videos together for 5 years, like ever since we started our businesses, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So any sort of collab like this is very sought after for me and you. And we were both very busy. It's hard to get you in here, and likewise on our side too.
Man.
So thanks for coming.
It just doesn't stop. Absolutely. Honestly, I'm so happy to be here.
Love it. So let's give people a little bit of a background on how you and I met.
Yeah.
Through college. Shout out Danny, visiting Westfield State, my best friend from high school, out to Westfield. That's how I met Zach. He was the only guy in college with a camera in his hand just about every time I saw him.
It's so funny because the year that you visited was the first year that I got my camera, which was my junior year.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
And so right away I was like, okay, entrepreneurial spirit. I didn't even really see it in myself at that time, but you and I got along just as friends. And then over the years, like during our senior year, we started Namra. Sahil and I and Taylor hopped in, and that was when you probably a year after school, you were talking to me and saying like, dude, I can't work at Bertucci's anymore.
I was just talking. Yeah, that was my grind. I was at Bertucci's, want to say a year and a half, and I was just talking to Marcus in the car. We were just kind of going around, like looking at like locations and stuff to shoot. But I was saying that, dude, I was talking to you at Paul's place, when he had that like going away party and everything like that. We were talking downstairs, like, man, just do it. Like, this dude was the like local Gary V. I was like, what's going on? And he's like, dude, he wasn't just talking to me. He was talking to like everyone. I was like, do it. I was like, oh man, like. And then I kind of just went from there.
Yeah.
What was holding you back before, if you don't mind me asking?
That's such a loaded question.
Yeah.
I think it was a confidence thing. Yeah. I think I was talking to my friend on the way here too. It wasn't something that everyone was doing at that time. If you think about it, I think the creatives really came in around like the pandemic when people had time to do that. But yeah, it was just like what my parents thought, what my friends thought. It was like all of those things. And I just kind of needed someone to believe in me, and Russ was one of them. So I'm like forever grateful for that, man.
Well, it's well-deserved, bro. Right away, you were right away, I knew super talented, super passionate about making videos and making cool projects. And you were doing passion projects in school, unpaid, just getting better at the craft.
Dude, in our dorm room, me and my roommate, Paul Falcone, shout out to Paul because he's the man.
Yep.
But yeah, we were shooting in our dorm room with a backdrop and nothing and a Canon T5i. That's like really where I like started to learn and started to make mistakes and all that good stuff. So
yeah, that's awesome. No, I was super proud of you when you made the jump, and not surprised that you're at the level that you're at now, because you are a quick learner, just like Justin. I think you guys are very similar. Like you're just really good with cameras and creativity, and you learn quick, and you know how to make mistakes productively, and just keep getting better at making videos.
In this industry, man, you got to make mistakes. You got to try new things that are risky.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think you guys have always had a pretty similar style. I like from my outside opinion looking in, just like really, really clean professional stuff when it matters for professionals, but on the music video side, a little more like it's just more raw. Like you just have the ability to customize your stuff to whoever you're working with. And Justin makes super cool, funny skits for business clients, but then also like the cleanest wedding videos, you'll find.
Yeah.
And so to have the ability to do both just shows that you fully understand the craft.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Yeah, it's been a long time coming, and, it takes a lot of time to develop, the style, and it changes for each thing. But I've been trying to integrate it for each thing. Like the wedding videos, I want them to look like music videos, you know what I mean? Like, just kind of integrate it and, like, have, like, a same, like, consistent style.
You got a real good creative style with your weddings. I love that about you.
Yeah? Dude,
you're
just
fire editing, dude.
The new ones are so sick.
Dude, just wait till this year. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, man.
That's all I got to say. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. I learned so much. Like, the camera's gotten better. The computer, like, invested in myself. And from there, like, just trying to take it, just trying to take it the distance. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Thanks.
And you recently worked and have been working with Clark's. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna be full ADHD this episode. We're gonna go back to how we met, like towards the end, and like all that good stuff.
I want people to see that's what this podcast is about, right? What would we be talking about without cameras? And I think let's just jump right in. Like tell the whole story, because it's super cool to see where you started. And we knew you were going to get there eventually, right? Like, but you're in the major leagues of video production, and it only took you a few years because you are that good.
Man.
And
I remember you told me that.
You're too
for
humble
the
to
first
say
time.
that, but like that, I mean, to like a marketing company, you see a videographer, a shooter who's working directly with Clark's consistently and gets hired again and again and again because you're actually doing great work for them. I mean, there's no higher level of quality than that. You know what I mean?
Thank you, man. Yeah. So the Clark's thing started out during the pandemic. My friend Joe, who I mentioned earlier, he was one of the creative directors for Clark's at that time. And at the time, Clark's was getting a little bit more into video, which was pretty cool. So when I started talking to him about it, I was like, hey, man, like, he had a shoot like around that time. And I was like, what would it take for me to be on set, pretty much? And it just was a question that I asked. It's like, well, with the pandemic, like, I can see what I can do, but I'm like the director, so I would love to have you on. So he brought me on and everything like that for the next one. I got the call for that. That was sweet. The photographers loved my work. A lot of people who were like on the team, like the work that they saw. I had like some similar videos to what I would be doing for them. Shot in Waltham, which is my city, and it was awesome. And I killed it. I thought I just killed it for them, and
you did.
They thanks. And they brought me back, and it was great from there. Like, I've done at least 3 other seasonal things for them, which has been awesome. And I just had a shoot yesterday with Clarkson QVC, a collaboration. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Dude, so is that one of the first big retainer clients that you had in your video career, if you don't mind talking about it?
Yeah, I think that was the one. Yeah, I definitely had some work here and there from different companies, but none bigger than Clark's. Like, Clark's is huge. It's so crazy to like say that, like, oh, I like shot for Clark's, and people know who that is and everything like that. And I kind of try to leverage that in any other things that I do, any other endeavors, and connections and everything like that.
Absolutely. So for some of the people that maybe were looking to move up into like their Clark's, or their kind of find their space kind of the same way you did, like, what are some quick tips that you could suggest to people who are looking to get maybe like, in that direction like you did?
Yeah. I think it pays to know people. Like, that was the main reason. It wasn't because I was better than a certain person. I think I held myself to a certain standard at that time, and still do, but like, my work could like kind of speak for itself and everything like that. So like, that helped, but also just knowing the right person, I think that helps. So once you know the right people, I think that comes from, you know, going through high school, middle school, whatever it is, college, and then, you know, from there, just networking, talking to people and everything like that. And then from there, if you're someone that people like, then just ask the question and just ask. That's it. Sometimes all it takes.
Yeah, man. If you're easy to work with, and then you're just like a joy to have on set, and then you actually help out, you're an extra set of hands, even at the bare minimum.
That's the thing too, man. No one wants a Debbie Downer. Yes. Like, no one wants to be on set and be like, oh, I have to work with this guy again.
Right.
Like, yeah, stuff is great, but can he, you know, hold a conversation? Is he polite? You know,
I'd rather hire somebody like that than somebody who's just like pissy all day.
Right.
Even if they know a little less than the guy who's pissy.
That's the thing that we do too. And I talk about this with like weddings, and like, they're like, oh, well, why do you charge so much for weddings? Or, you know, people may ask that question in general. It's like, I feel like I bring an experience to what I shoot, you know, from the process of the intake to the day of, you know, I'm there with you, cracking jokes, getting the right shots, making suggestions. People will forget what you said, but it's how you make them feel. Yeah. That is like a lifelong thing. So that's what I try to do for everything, video wise. Yeah.
I was having a conversation with a client, just really quick to finish off the point. Like you said, like weddings can range from new beginners who are like a couple hundred to a couple thousand, and all the way up to like 10,000+, depending on, and people are like, well, I can look at it and it looks roughly the same, but it's like that, as well as the experience, how the day runs, knowing the small ins and outs of a wedding, knowing what angles are best to grab and most efficient way to set up. So it's like people don't realize all of the years of experience that go into it.
Yes.
You're exactly right. What were you going to say, Russ?
I was just going to say that, and it takes an added layer of experience and skill to be able to put all that together and still have your wits about you and carry those conversations and make people feel good. Because if you're a beginner, you go into a shoot and there's a lot of logistics, you're not the most talkative guy. You're just really focused on not making a mistake. And you want the videographer who's completely chill. I've done this a million times. I'm hanging out with you guys. Nothing ever goes wrong. I have the experience. That's where we are at now, but it took us a few years to get there with the business side of shoots. But then weddings is like times a million pressure-wise. You can't mess it up, you know?
Yeah.
You can't miss the shot.
Ashley, I was just talking to you about the nightmares I get from...
Yeah, exactly. And that's actually a really great point that you mentioned, because I feel like creators in general always get asked that question, like, why does it cost this, or why is it so much? And I feel like so many creators don't know how to answer that question. So I think that's a great point, especially because of the nightmares too.
Oh, I don't want you nightmares. Oh man.
What are your wedding nightmares?
Oh, just like I'm in like a ceremony and I don't have any of my camera gear, and I have to find a cell phone from a crowd member to film it with, and I have no audio. It's a mess.
Oh man. Forget where I was about to go. That's what I was going to say to you. Okay. I don't think that we understand how much time it takes, and I feel like that is why we struggle with like pricing, because all those times that we're like thinking about it or whatever, like, is never allotted for, I feel like.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
that goes into the price, I feel like, you know, the preparation for it and all that good stuff, the calls, you know, conversations and all that stuff.
That's a huge point, is like thought time.
Yeah.
That's
Not
one thing that no one
that.
charges for, but it's super important, because it's like, well, if I didn't spend a couple hours really dedicating my mind to thinking about how I wanted this to look, or if it's like a skit idea, like we were brainstorming for 3 hours, crossed off 7 bad ideas to land on this good one, and that takes time. Like we could just completely shoot from the hip and miss all the time, but we take the time to get it right, do things appropriately, and yeah, you do need creatives, all of you creatives out there, charge for the thought time too, for sure.
Right. I also feel like we charge because
never undercharge yourself.
Right. For sure. I also feel like we charge too because it's like we know that we're gonna do the job that we were hired for the right way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And it requires the consultation, lots of thought back and forth, and communication back and forth, and you have to have an ability to communicate and make adjustments. Like if you're not paying a premium price, it's probably because you're not getting a premium product. You're gonna make some sort of sacrifice on quality or lack of customization or anxiety on your wedding day because, you know, whatever the case was, like the videographer just made a little mistake and it just threw you off. Like those days for the bride and the groom, I haven't been married, but it seems so stressful. And everybody tells me it's just the most stressful day because all you're worried about is every little detail going perfectly. So the last thing you want to worry about is like your videographer who you got on the low, like forgetting a battery or like not having the right lens to get that perfect shot. And then you just missed. And it's like,
or having to borrow a crowd member's
you pay.
iPhone to shoot the wedding.
Exactly. The worst nightmare.
Dude, I have to say one thing. That's the worst thing about the weddings is like the people down the aisle with the iPads.
Oh, bro.
Like not even the phones, but like just like the iPads. Like, what are we doing, guys?
And the iPad is like
iPad
2
videography.
megapixels for us. What do you do?
For some reason, it's a bigger device, but the cameras are so much worse.
Yeah.
Very weird. I had something, but I lost it.
Well, I have something quick I could jump
Okay,
to.
you
Ashley,
go.
I was wondering when you brought up the fact that, pricing is difficult for every creative. And then you do social media marketing and then you also do painting, right? So how, when a person comes to you and they're looking to have a commission done, whether it's I know you do dogs, portraits, people, landscapes, how do you kind of price that and how do you price your work? You don't have to give me specifics, but like generally, could you give me any insight on that?
Yeah, so when I first started doing commissions, so basically when someone's like, hey, can you paint my dog? How much is this going to cost? I used to basically do it very strategically where I would add up costs of my materials. I would estimate how much time I take, multiply it all. I did that for a while until I realized I feel like this isn't working as much anymore. Kind of like what you mentioned with time. You never really realize time, especially with me with my paintings. It's kind of like my second job. So I'll paint along with doing my job, or I'll paint sometimes on weekends. I can't really estimate how long I'm spending all the time. I'm just like, okay, it's going to take like a month, but I can't really count the hours anymore. So then I kind of started doing it by demand. So I'm like, okay, a lot of people want commissions. I had no problem with the charge I'm doing right now, and everyone still asks me for commissions. I was still booked the whole year. So now I can increase by, say, like 10%. So for me, it's really just kind of like demand now. And I kind of go off where I started and just kind of like decide like a percentage to maybe increase each year or each quarter or something like that. Because time is definitely a big thing. And yeah, you shouldn't have to sit there and like calculate your hours. I think you really should think about your worth and your quality and the experience too.
Yeah.
The not charging hourly. That's really the big shift in the conversation from like 5 or 10 years ago. Videographers, it was like, oh, what's your hourly rate or whatever. It's like now you're paying for the product because
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
a lot goes into getting it right.
And every hour can be different too. I spend some hours working on one spot, or I spend an hour just taking pictures first to help me then continue painting. So it's hard to really go like hour by hour.
Yeah.
And you don't charge for like trying to draw inspiration, trying to find like, because as creatives, I'm sure you've all been through it. You get into ruts or you get into burnout, and it's like, that's not even, charging for those things on your side. So as a creative, you have to be in charge of your structure and your boundaries and things like that. So that's even another added difficulty of being a freelancer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, couldn't agree more.
Exactly.
What else you guys got? That was good. That was a good little starter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you guys were talking, you wanted to discuss how you guys met. So did you have more to
That's
do
all
with
I
that
had,
story?
really. No, it was really just college. We met in college. We became friends before business, and then
So yeah, and then
was it.
you guys hired me for a couple of things, and I think I was still learning at the time, and you guys were still learning. I think you guys were shooting on iPhones at that point.
Oh, yeah.
I was shooting on my 80D.
we were just talking about that.
Yeah, it was just crazy.
Yeah.
And then I told you guys to make the switch to the GH5s.
Yep.
Still
the
my-
ADD's
man.
down there.
Still my claim to fame.
So that was
today.
HBZ inspired, huh? The GH5.
I was like,
joint.
I remember this so vividly. I was in the grocery store. I was like, man, you need to get those cameras.
Yeah.
Like I just said it to you guys.
Yeah,
I
you were
swear.
all fired up on GH5s, and then Ben Mercedes also
Shout out Ben
recommended them.
Mercedes.
Yeah, he was like, he was like, all you need these 2 lenses and this camera, and
Great
it's
camera for
the best like just starter kit for like doing really high quality vlogging.
far beyond
and
its time too, man.
Far beyond its time.
I want
The
to bring up
ability to
something
roll.
real quick.
Please do.
Ben Mercedes, he's somebody who I think is a legend around here.
We've given him multiple shout outs.
Yeah, I need to shout him out.
Ben, yeah.
He took me under his wing for weddings and stuff like that, and just really put me up on game. So salute to Ben Mercedes.
Yep.
You're the
Shout
man.
out to you, Ben.
You're the man.
Appreciate
And he's
it, man.
still continually like teaching me things, and I have other mentors. LTD, who's from Waltham. He does stuff for BET and things like that, and then. A couple other ones I even consider more of a belly, like one of my mentors, because showed me a lot with like editing, through music videos and stuff like that.
He edits.
I Bro, he used to be incredible with filming, more with Belly Films, and, you know, transition to being an artist.
I did not know that
Dude,
about Morph.
Yes.
Wow.
He was legit, like,
wow.
really good.
I love that. You're doing really high quality stuff now. Let's talk about some of your more recent projects and sort of how your projects have evolved from the last few years into what you're producing in 2022 going into 2023.
Yeah, I think the main thing with me right now is I'm just very selective of the projects that I take in. I think I was pretty like picky choosy before, but now I'm just like really like, okay, I like this company. I like, you know, what their ethics and morals are and, you know, what they represent. I would like to work with them when they reach out and stuff like that. Same with music video artists or music videos for artists. Like, do I like the song? Is this like a reputable person? Like, you know what I mean? Like, these are things and questions that I ask myself, and, you know,
more so now
than before. Before I was trying to shoot everything I could.
Yeah, we were just talking about that, right?
Yeah, I just wanted people to know who I was. I legit remember before I shot with like more one time. There was like a day before we were gonna shoot, and I was just like, man, like I just want an opportunity, right? So I called them and was like, you know, we're gonna shoot a music video tomorrow. Like just shoot. Like, come on, like let's just do it, because I can't do nothing. Like, you know. But, you know, back to this year and everything like that, everything is just like a step above, like all the lessons and things from last year, everything is just a step up. So
you were saying you can take on more projects than you can actually enjoy and like believe in.
Things that align with me and things that also reflect a price point that I believe in and that I believe I'm worth, and, you know, all that stuff. So yeah, that's why I'm working with like people like Top Notch Contracting, who are like incredible construction people in Lexington, Mass, and then also like Clark's, like that's big. Like artists I work with, like Maystar, like more like one of the best in Boston. Like I think one of the best, you know, ever. Like he's incredible, you know. And Morva Belly, like Debo, like all these guys, you know, keep me at a certain level. You know what I'm saying? So that's who I want to be around, stuff like that.
So what was it like, that switch? Like, where did that switch come from? Because you said really every year you're improving, but like over this year versus last year, really just the mentality of like, I'm not going to take just what comes my way.
Yeah, I think it was an accumulation of things. I think bad quality, you know, experiences, like being like, oh, like I should have charged more for that project because it took me X amount of time, or like I know that this project is like worth that, you know. Right. So things like that over time, I think, really like made me just be like, no, I need to be here because I think that this is where I'm at, you know, and this is who I want to work with, and this is the life that I want to choose, and all that stuff.
And it is a choice, right? You can choose to stop growing and getting better at your craft at any level. And it's a choice to keep going every year. And I think all of us, everyone here, has like continuously gotten better every single year.
Absolutely. And I salute you guys. I've seen it in all of you,
Thanks,
know,
bro.
And I think that's why you guys are what you are, because you guys continually grow every single year. You know, you take what you need and you just go for it. Like, you know, whatever. Oh, I didn't have this last year. All right, cool. We're going to get it. And then we're going to like build off of it. You got the task cams, you got the GH5s. Like, you know, you have Justin. Justin's been doing a great job.
Thanks, man.
And you've been doing an incredible job of, you know, Russ and I have talked and everything like that. So yeah, it's a big team effort.
Yeah, for sure.
What's
your like favorite project that you've worked on? Clark's aside, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, like one or two.
Yeah. That's a question.
That's a tough question. You don't.
And I don't want to exclude anyone because like I love all the projects I'm working on.
You don't even have to answer that.
Yeah, I think I'm.
Plead the fifth.
Plead the fifth.
Yeah, I'm gonna plead the fifth on that. But
well, let me ask you this: in your mind, because you said you're really focused on differentiating projects that you want to do and projects that you don't want to do.
Right.
In your mind, what is that differentiator? Like when a new client comes across your table and he gives you the scope of the project he's looking for.
Yes.
What's a good project and what's a project that makes you go, oh, fuck this guy? Of course,
that's a really good question.
That is a good question. Yeah. I think working with brands is a big thing for me. So like to like backtrack a little bit, like the main thing that I focus on is, you know, working with brands, working with music video artists, artists for music videos, and then, you know, weddings and stuff like that. So those are my three things. Of course, where I'd love to be is, you know, with music videos on a super high level. I think it is a little bit tougher to gauge that music video world, especially locally with like artists and like the budgets that they have and stuff like that. So it's kind of tough to like pivot through that. Right. So I've been going more with like brand and stuff like that. So back to what we were talking about with the question and stuff like that, it really comes down to vision, budget, and their ethics and, you know, what they stand for. And if I could see us like coming together and like making something, you know what I'm saying? If it's going to be like interesting for me.
Follow-up question. What is the opposite side of that? What is a project that, you know, what is like that differentiator on the opposite side, the negative side for you?
Pretty much just like
not getting paid,
low budget, like nothing. People that don't have high reputations, just low quality experiences, things that don't make me feel like I would want to wake up in the morning and shoot it, or things that make me feel like I don't want to pursue it. Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, it's all part of your portfolio too. So you want to take on projects that make you look better. You don't want to take on these like small, cheap jobs.
Yes.
It's not good for your brand either.
Right.
And even if you're not showing them all, like you're wasting time doing these projects that you don't love, you're not passionate about, or are making you money.
Yeah.
Taken away from the better ones.
Right.
It's the sad truth, unfortunately.
I agree. I definitely agree.
I think that is a really good point. I actually talked about this a few weeks ago where as an artist in the very beginning, I was just saying yes to everything, even things I really don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then over time, it's a really like good feeling to be able to say like, oh, I can afford to not do something I don't want to do. And I think it's really important. It's very empowering. I think it's really important to know how to like say no to something that's not going to be fulfilling to you in your business.
Right. And off
Great
of
point.
that as well, I think, well, what's the other side of that, just going into it a little bit deeper, is like, how am I spending my time?
Yeah.
Do
exactly.
I want to work the rest of my life? Of course. And I'm a workaholic. Everyone that knows me knows that I work and I get down and I can't do things because I'm trying to like work. The other side of that is like, I have a niece now, like, and I want to see her, and I want to spend time with my mom, and I want to spend time with my dad, and I want to spend time with my family, and I want to see my friends. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the price has to be here. Like, you know, I have to want to do
yourself
it.
into the ground.
Right.
Yeah.
Doing things that you don't love and like all that stuff. Like that's just
it's not
how I
sustainable.
feel.
You need your like the mental health side of your life too.
Right.
You know.
That's something I don't even hear a lot of creatives talking about, and nowadays at least, it's like the tolling side of being a freelancer is absolutely there.
This isn't for everyone, man.
It is
Like,
not for everybody.
It's not. Like, there's some, I wanted to quit so many times, like, just because I drove myself into the ground, and, you know, there might have been a mistake or two I made, or, like, you know, things didn't pan out the way I wanted to. But, like, I think that's what separates people in this game is, like, can you make a mistake, or can you be broken and come back again?
It's like Nipsey Hussle said, man, it's like the differentiator is that I keep going.
Yeah.
People will stop, and then like you will reach success if you just keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one thing about me, like, I can't break. Like, I'm just going to keep on going. I'm going to keep on going forward. I just know the risk of stopping, and it's too much. Like, the legacy of, like, my family, it's like people who have invested in me and my time and the time I put in, like I have to. Yeah. Like, I have to do this, you know? Yeah.
And, dude, you get the backbone of passion right there. So it's
Right.
like if you just got that backbone of passion, that's all you need.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Separates you from people who just are doing it for the money or doing it because they like to look cool on Instagram. It's like, no, like we live, eat, breathe, and do everything, film or videos or content or this. Like, you know, we love this shit. So that's going to separate you from somebody who doesn't.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Yeah, that's a really good point too.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the HBZ Media legacy. Like, where do you see the business going?
Great
Where do
question.
you see, like,
I'm trying to be like you
30
guys, man.
Yeah?
You know, in certain aspects, I just admire you guys having a team that specializes in a certain thing. You know, you're great with talking to people. I know, dude, you can sell, you can do all that. You can network. Yeah, you know what off. Like, you're great at that. And I know Sahil is great at what he does, and Justin can shoot the heck out of a video, like, you know what I mean, and edit. Like, everyone, like, you know, everyone on the team has a lot of position, and they do really well. Like, I just feel like I want to grow that with me, and I think part of that with me is, like, sometimes I'm stubborn and I want to do everything. I'm still trying to grow out of that. So, you know what I'm saying?
You and I have talked a lot about
a million times. And it always comes back to, like, it always circles around, and then I'm back at ground zero, you know what I'm saying? But, like, eventually, like, I want to get to the place, you know, where I have more editors, like, you know, editors for weddings and stuff like that. Because, like, up until this point, it's really just been me. It's just been editing, you know what I'm saying?
And there's also no right or wrong answer to that either. Like, there's no right or wrong path. You can choose to be the guy who shoots and edits all of your own videos, doesn't build a team, but still makes 6 figures every year because he does 6 to 8 like $10,000 videos every year, or that math doesn't add up.
Right.
Could have fooled me, bro.
We didn't go to school for that, so that's fine.
Yeah,
freelancers, bro. Yeah,
I need my numbers.
Basically, unemployed over here.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. You can choose. You can choose to take that path.
It's a scale. It's a scale. You know what I mean? It's a scale. Yeah. So yeah, for sure. Yeah. What else are we talking about? Man, I can't wait for you guys to see all the videos I'm working on, man.
Let's see it.
I'm so excited.
For those of you who don't already follow Zach, HBZ Media, HBZ.media on Instagram, right?
HBZ_media on Instagram. www.hbzmedia.video is my website.
Oh, yeah. Love it. Yeah, follow him. Great videos, great work. You can see everything that he's all about. I'm good to go into like watching videos if you guys are.
Sure.
Yeah. Can I just say one thing really quick?
Yeah, anything.
My boy Debo has a video out. It's called Shark Tank. I need you guys to check that out. He had someone named Gripless, I believe his name is. He's like an animator, and he like portrayed Debo in a Shark Tank scenario, like as an animation. It's sick.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, he just released it today.
Is this live?
Okay.
Can we pull this up?
Yes,
absolutely. That'll be the first video we watch.
Cool.
Shout out Debo.
All right. So while Russ picks this up and pulls up some projects over here on the laptop, I'm going to give you guys a rundown of what we're about to do. So we've created a new segment over here at the Namra Podcast, and we've yet to name it. I don't know if we're going to come up with a name today or some other day, but basically we review videos. We take whether it's an old commercial, whether it's local artists or other people who have their work and they want to get it reviewed or just critiqued. That's a new segment that we've been doing. So let's pull up some work from HBZ, and let's pull up some other videos that I think Russ had in mind as well that he wanted to review.
Yeah.
What's
yeah.
What's his does he have YouTube?
Yeah, DE-BO. Yeah. I wish I did this first.
It's Black Star, right?
Yeah. So if you click his
YouTube.
Yeah.
What's the video called?
Shark Tank.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Debo Shark Tank. Already really cool.
Investing, what we do over here manifesting. Mama told me my mom be the weapon. Papa told me pray hard for your blessings. We don't take L's, just lessons. You're first or you're last, no second. Whatever I do, I'm the best in. They can't stop me cause I'm destined, ain't no resting. And they can't ride my wave. Me versus you, I'm picking me. Little fish out the way. Big shark, he doubted me. That's what happens in the Shark Tank. That's what happens in the Shark Tank. I feel like Billy like I'm Khaled, and I want a Billy like I'm Cuban. Grind on my life like a Maverick, hit my mark so I'm ballin' like Luka. Boss over here like I'm Damon. They don't want us to go way in. We made our own lane just to stay in. For us by us, we ain't playing. I can sell water to a fish. QVC like Lori, I don't miss. Barbara the way that I flip. Double it, now I see benefits. Robert, my sense of security. My ambition, one thing that's securing me. Learning new ways to be hunting you. Life is so good, it's so wonderful. You get it? And they can't ride my way. Me versus you, I'm picking me. Little fish out the way. Big shark, he doubted me. That's what happens in the Shark Tank. That's what happens in the Shark Tank. Yeah, getting banks.
Woo! Right?
That's legit.
That's awesome.
Hey,
that was really good.
Fire.
Dang.
That's really
That
cool.
I'm not trying to show any of my videos after that. No, I'm just
That's so cool. That's easily one of my favorite Debo songs too.
Oh,
Like so catchy.
Yes.
I love Shark Tank, period. But like that's so good.
The
All the
whole
references
EP.
are great.
Yeah, the whole EP is very marketable, and I think that's what he was going for. He's thinking brands in that 4-song EP that he has out.
Oh man,
Called
that's a
Blessed and
whole
Branded.
That's a whole topic right there. The shift from people actually realizing that they can talk about the things that they want to talk about, and reaching a broader audience. And
Yes,
that's a huge key. I mean, I wouldn't know. I'm not a musician, but from what I've seen, what I've heard, man, that's great. That's awesome.
Absolutely. I wish I made that, right? And I don't have any animation skills like that.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither.
Who made that?
Gripless, I believe, is his name. They went to UMass
local?
together.
That's great.
I don't know where he is now, but
Okay.
dude,
But they went to school around here?
well,
Gripless?
I'm sorry. They went to UMass Amherst. But I think he's around here. He probably, I mean, with his work, he's probably in LA or something like that. Dude, Hell's Kitchen, like, follows him. Like, I'm pretty sure Shark Tank, I'm pretty sure.
Cool.
Like, yeah, he's very
Very
up
cool.
there.
Very cool. That's a really good segue because I want to start watching some videos. What we're going to start doing, this is kind of the first episode that we're going to do this as like what are we calling it? A segment. This is a new segment on the Namra Podcast.
And the next segment is going to be about literacy and dictionaries.
And maybe some math.
And
Oh no.
fuck that, bro. I'm not coming to that one. It's all you.
The 10,000 will get you, man.
10,000 times 6 is $100,000.
Let's hop into it, man. What do you got for us, Russ? Do you have any other ones that we can talk about?
Well, let's find some. Because that was
So
the
if I could
worst
make a
first
suggestion,
example. Yeah, tell
when I
me.
was watching back the episode that me and Taylor did, I found it a lot more funny and entertaining to watch the bad commercials than I did the good ones. The good ones were okay for people who actually understood film and could understand the feedback and the critiques, but like,
Yeah.
it's just funny
Bad
to watch.
commercials are funny.
Haircuts.
Yeah, those were great. All right, let's
golf
just do bad.
clubs.
Let's just do bad commercials.
There's all the cool projects that you have coming up, all the
Yeah.
good stuff that you have going on. If you could give me an overview or an idea, and honestly, I'm just ripping off my asshole right now. So, if you could give me, Zach, if you could give me an overview of some of your favorite projects that you have coming up, maybe not specifically what they are, but what is the thread that kind of binds all these together, like we talked about earlier? Like, do you have some projects that you love, some projects that you maybe not love so much? Like, what is the thread for your upcoming projects, if there is one?
It's interesting because most of my upcoming projects for the years are weddings.
Oh man, let's jump into weddings now. That's a good topic.
which is cool. So I'm definitely excited about that. Again, the venues that I'm shooting at, the people that I'm working with. For instance,
God damn it, Russ.
never coming back.
I thought I
again.
could very quickly get
This
rid of
is
the
awful.
sound,
Do you
and
need
it was
help?
not working.
Yeah, I uncasted.
You need help, babies.
God damn it.
Little boy needs some help.
Sorry, Zach. This is a fucking train wreck.
Man.
Everything up until we stopped talking was great.
Okay. So.
I thought it would like immediately get quiet when I hit the volume. I was like, no, these just
No, that's okay.
get muted.
Don't worry about it.
I was trying to get the Namra logo back on because it's going to do a hard cut to the same conversation, but with the fucking YouTube thumbnail up there. So I was trying to get the Namra logo back up.
What just happened? Why is that doing that?
What is going on? Our office is breaking.
You get Russ to host one time.
I know.
This is why we can't have nice things, bro.
Oh, God. Happy birthday. Everything breaks. All good.
Ow.
That's annoying. That'll break up a podcast.
That's why I said, glad my eardrums were intact the first time, but all right, baby. We live, baby, yeah.
Let's do 10 more minutes. Sound good, Zach?
Yeah.
Sound good, Abby and Melker? 10 more minutes. We can just leave. Justin, do you need the cameras?
What?
Do you need cameras tomorrow? We can leave everything.
No, I believe
I'll
I'm.
come
I
back
believe I'm
tomorrow.
actually off tomorrow. Yes, Saturday.
I don't want to be like a controller at all, but I just want to like throw in the fact that we probably shoot a couple of quick B-roll shots just after.
Yeah.
If that's fine?
Yeah, we got
All right.
no rush.
Okay. We'll be celebrating your birthday at like 12.
Dude, we started at 3 o'clock today. Well, 4.
fuck, bro? This got me all confused. I'm sorry it's taking me so long. And
Bro.
I'm not used to this fucking
This is making me
laptop.
feel better that I
We're
can't use my
chilling.
laptop. So he'll give me all these hotkeys, and I just basically every time I hit a corner, I reset everything I was doing, and I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Your laptop has me all sorts of fucked.
So, dude, you gotta know all the shortcuts. I was like, well,
There you go. All right. Back in business, baby.
all right,
So.
we back.
Gotcha. All right, so what's the last thing you
as
said?
we were
Weddings.
saying.
Weddings.
Weddings.
Yeah,
Said,
no, I'm just gonna answer it like this in terms of like I'll just give
because
you
that might have been a
foresight.
bad question, bro. I just literally pulled that straight from my ball.
No, that's okay. You could, I guess you could just ask like, what are things that you have coming up and how does it align? You could kind of ask the same thing, and I'm just gonna attack
Cool.
it a different way.
Cool. Okay. Cool, man. All good things. So, of all those projects, give me a little bit of insight of what you got coming up as far as the future and some of the things you're excited for.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I just have variety. I think that's the big name. I have some doc work coming up, which is really great. A very extensive project. I don't even think I've talked to you guys about that, but that's why I was in Nevada. I won't go too into that. You know what I'm
Top
saying?
secret.
Top secret.
Teaser for the future.
It's a really incredible story that will be told. A lot of weddings. I mean, dude, I have like 5 weddings in September. I think one of the things that I'm trying to do with my weddings is make them different in terms of like adding things to them. Maybe there's a other day of shooting that we can add. For instance, I'm shooting a wedding in September, early September, and the groom is a musician, and he is incredible and does stuff in Boston, the Cape, like all that stuff. So I'm going to grab some shots of them, like, when he's performing, and his future wife is going to be there and stuff like that. And that's what it's all about. Like, I think that's like one of the cool things about me shooting weddings is like a lot of these people are my friends, or we like grow to be friends and stuff like that. So it's just a great time. They're like offering me like drinks at the end and stuff like that. Just, just being a personable person.
Yeah. Gets you far, man.
But yeah, and just high level variety and high level things. Like that's the consistent. Like everything is the next thing that I do is going to be the best thing that I do. Like,
that's the mentality you got to have, man. I mean,
It's a good quote.
One thing that I appreciate about you, Zach, is that you've always been not only on the creative side, you've had that hustle around creativity, getting better and moving up and finding things that inspire you and running with it, but also like the business mindset. Not a lot of creatives have that, and I think that's where a lot of creatives fall. And we've talked about it a couple times in this podcast episode already, is like, not everybody has that, and you really got to learn, like, fail, try, figure out what works for you, and then you kind of learn, like you said, if you're already doing something that you love and you have like these people around you who are like just good brides and grooms, make your life so much easier. You can be friends with them, you can take them out, maybe even have like a meeting with them, have coffee or whatever. Like comparing that to like not having that mentality, it sets you apart completely. So that's one thing that I've always respected about you, man.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. And yeah, it's just been such a long time coming, man. Like, it really has just been such a long time coming, and you know that, Russ. Like, so.
I mean, you've clawed your way up every step of the way, man. Like, you've just gotten slowly, incrementally better at the video side, the business side, learning what mistakes you can't make again, like we all do.
Made all the mistakes in the book, man.
Yeah,
Made all the mistakes in the book. And I need that. I need to make mistakes to know what works and what doesn't. And, just because it works for me doesn't mean it works for Justin or Marcus or anyone here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're all our individual person. I think that's why I love what I do, is because, like, I have things that I'm really, really good at and things that I really need to work on, you know what I'm saying? And I think that that just shows who HBZ Media is. Like, that's just it. Like,
there's something to be said about, like, knowing the person behind the company.
Yeah.
And that's why we do the podcast. That's why it's important that all of our clients do videos, because it shows, like, you could have the cleanest logo in the world, you could look great, but if you're a jerk and you're really bad at communicating with your clients and you're not good at taking criticism, we talked about that on the last podcast, you're not going to end up being successful, or it's going to be a lot harder than you know, if you're somebody who's humble enough to admit when you're wrong, communicate well with clients, figure out really what they're looking for, and just try your best.
Humility is the name of the game. Yeah, it really is.
And rolling with the punches, man. Like, I can't tell you how many shoots, like, you know, you have an expectation of something, you have a game plan, because we're all maybe perfectionists, maybe we just really like to have our ducks in a row. But like, I go into a shoot with an idea and just being flexible, not being so rigid in that, like, oh, this has to happen X, Y, Z, because that's sometimes where the best content comes from and the most magic happens, is when you let things just be and you accept it and you're just kind of involved and you're in the moment. That's, for me, I've noticed, is especially with weddings too.
Right.
You try to have so much control over things, and it's like, just let things be, capture it as it is. It always comes out more authentic.
Stand back a little bit, you know what I mean? Let it
let it breathe.
Yeah, let it breathe. You gotta let it breathe. Yeah.
And that, like, on the weddings note too, you've kind of recently added a new flair, I noticed, like in the last year or so, to your wedding videos, where you're like almost telling more of a story than anyone else I've seen.
Yes,
like most people, it's
Agreed.
just B-roll and music. And then last year you dropped a few where I was like, oh man, that is so cool. Like, you incorporated the groom's speech into the video and the story behind it, and like it was like
the double exposures you had in some of them, dude.
Like, I almost cried watching one of these videos, and I was like, man,
The
like,
people that you don't even know. I love
yeah,
that.
but I
People
felt
say
like
that to me
right
sometimes.
away I felt like I knew them.
Yeah, I do
and
that
was
all
like,
the time.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's awesome. And I know you guys were asking me what I have going on and everything like that, and I feel like with weddings, like, that storytelling aspect, and it's just better.
That's like
it's better, and the angles I'm getting and the exposure, like, and the trying the new things and all that stuff.
That was a risk you took, because it's very easy for wedding videos to become cookie cutter, right? Like, if you have a wedding video business, all of your wedding videos could be the exact same
Where
thing.
that burnout comes from, man.
It could be super cookie cutter, but you do a good job of keeping yourself. It's staying true to who, like, HBZ Media is, which is fully custom, never cookie cutter, always better every next shoot.
Thank you, man.
You know, like, that's huge. And the client definitely sees that. And that's literally that took a risk, because that's stepping outside that. It's a risk. They might not have liked it. Like, you took a risk in saying, I'm going to tell a different sort of story than probably they've ever seen in a wedding video for their wedding video.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so good on you, because it worked. That was a risk worth taking, because it was fucking awesome.
Right.
It was
And for
like
one of them,
emotional and really good.
For one of them, it was like one of their songs too. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
One of their songs?
yeah. Well,
Like the musicians?
It's not like a cover. Like, for one of them was like a cover, which was like really
is
cool, and there was
great.
audio in that from
even
like
more
her and stuff like that.
personalization.
You know what I'm saying? So all that stuff is cool, and again, just expanding on that, making that better. Like, for this year, there's one that I actually shout out Marcus, because he was on that shoot with me and everything like that. But the wedding that I'm putting together now for my friends Chris and Sarah, like, awesome. The groom speech is in there. Just killing it, like, with the angles and, you know, the variety of shots and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Let me ask you this, Zach. You've been saying you've kind of cultivated your style. You've kind of really figured out risks, what type of risks you want to take, and different techniques that you've found. Give me an idea of, like, some of your most outside the box techniques that you've been doing recently over the recent time, or even the last few years, that you found, like, man, like, I'm really glad I took a risk and tried to do this.
Yeah.
Is there anything comes to mind?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, one thing that just comes to mind is just the picture effects. Like, who would have thought to put pictures in video without doing like a Ken's burn effect? Like, like, I like layer my pictures and have variety with my pictures in my videos and add the sound effects. I think that gives a lot of, like, dimension and stuff to the video. So that's one thing that I feel like when people see my videos, they may see that throughout it, which is cool. Just a different break in the action too. Like, they talk about, like, changing your focal length to give new perspectives. Like, adding those pictures is definitely a new perspective from the way that it plays with, like, the frame rate and everything like that, and just how it feels. Like, it's different than a video just actually playing. It's like the picture is like click, click, click. Like, you know what I mean? You can, like, kind of phase that out. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
We'll have to add footage of your videos in, because I think just even a 10-second clip of probably any of your videos, like, same with yours, it's like the footage is different. It's different. Like, it's just a next level crisp shot.
It's an experience.
The lighting is
dimensional.
so clean. Like,
thank you.
That Clark's footage is just it's picture perfect. It's so clean, so well lit, so crisp. Just with all your shots,
I think
whether it's music video or product, it's like it's I think that's what makes a good, same with like Ben Mercedes. Like when I see a really high end videographer, I'm like, that is just, the footage is so clean and crisp.
Right. Yeah.
That's why I'm saying, basically, in essence, follow Zach and check out the footage, because you need to see it to understand like the true difference in quality between an HBZ Media and a lesser videographer. So Zach, thank you first of all for coming in. Great to see you. Long time coming. You need to come back for sure, because I think we only scratched the surface on what we can talk about with Zach about videos, video production, just how to work with clients, how clients can better work with us and communicate with us. Like there's so many angles that we can take on this technical, soft skills of videography, and you name it. So definitely come back. Obviously you're always welcome. Thanks, man. But thank you for coming in today. Appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate
you. Proud of you for everything you've done so
dude,
far.
I'm proud of you guys, man. Like you guys are doing incredible.
Thanks,
super
man.
excited, look out for all my videos and, photos, everything I have coming, because it is coming.
It's coming.
That's all I got to say. It is coming.
Love it.
And I'll show you some stuff after. So
Awesome.
Man. Until next time, thanks for checking us out, guys.
Sweet.
Peace.
Thanks, guys.